Good morning. Today we are looking at the following essential questions. Number 2, how do strategic readers create meaning from literary text? Number 4, what is literary text really about? And 5, how does interaction with text provoke thinking and response? Today we're going to close read 2 poems. This is the first time we've looked at 2 pieces at the same time. As we close read, we're going to look for what the text says, how the text says it, and why the text matters as you read through the text 3 different times, looking for specific key features. In our first phrase of reading, as you read through dump and how things work, you're going to be looking for what the text says by reading the text and thinking about how does each speaker develop their shared point of view about consumerism. So the key features of this is that they do have a similarity here. This is a comparison. They have a shared point of view. So they both have the same point of view about consumerism. Um, However, there are 2 pieces. So as you sift through it and find text evidence, I want you to make sure you find text evidence from both pieces to support what that shared idea that they had, that shared perspective about consumerism that both speakers convey throughout the piece. I want you to begin your opening sentence with the speakers develop their point of view about consumerism by, and then you pick one, including, describing, explaining, emphasizing, or reflecting on. Pick one of those, and then remember that ellipse means to finish the sentence. By what? How is that perspective, that point of view about consumerism developed throughout the piece? Again, remember, you need to have evidence from both poems to support this response. As you look through that, this is focusing in on learning target number 7, to analyze how the author develops the points of view of different characters or narrators, or in this case, speakers, in their poems. That means to look closely at the specific features or part that the authors use in the text to grow or change the point of view perspectives of the speakers throughout this poem. Again, remember to make sure that your opening sentence starts with the author develops the point of view about consumerism by, and then pick one, including, describing, emphasizing, explaining, or reflecting on. Within this piece, it does not necessarily matter whether you pay attention to that it's first person with I and we, or second person that it's you, or third person that they're using he, she, it, or they, being limited to one speaker or being omniscient to the entire poem. What really matters is, are you capturing that perspective, that viewpoint, the way each speaker sees the world in the thing that you notice that the author uses, or the speaker uses to develop, that the author uses to develop that point of view. As you read through this second phase of reading for how the text says it, you're going to look through both poems this time, focusing in on what does the word choice suggest about the speaker's attitudes toward consumerism. So this question does connect closely to the first phase about their perspective on consumerism, but this is focusing in on the word choice and how the word choice helps to develop that attitude towards consumerism that you notice. So focus on the word choice within this one. Again, you want to cite text evidence from both poems to support your response for this phase. As you read through this phase, you're focusing in on a learning target number 13, to distinguish among the connotations of words with similar denotations. So we're looking at the connotation of the word, the feelings associated with their word choice. What does the word choice suggest about their attitude, their feelings towards consumerism? So think of a key word. This is tying closely into connotation, but it's also tying closely into tone, which is that author's attitude that you hear coming off the page. And as we look through this, they do have similar attitudes towards consumerism. So catch key words, specific words that have that connotation, that showcases that tone, that showcases that attitude that they're taking towards the concept of consumerism. And then point out what those words are as you cite your text evidence in phase 2. In phase 3, we're reading for why the text matters. And again, this third phase is actually the only contrast we're going to see within the 2 pieces. So in this phase, we're reading the text for what are the distinct, as in distinct. So there's 2 separate themes. They both tie around the same subject matter, but they are different between each other. So they have two distinct themes presented in each of the poems. As you discuss what the themes are, I want you to tie in text evidence to both. So really consider, what are the themes in here in each poem? And yes, it's around the same subject matter as we've seen in the phase 1 and phase 2, but what is the thematic statement you could say for each separate poem based on the material present in that text? As you read through for phase 3, you're going to do learning target number 3 to determine and analyze, and number 4, the theme and how it develops throughout the text or throughout that poem. Remember, the theme is that message or bigger meaning that the written word gives to all readers. And as we look closely at the evidence, we're able to sort of see what that message or bigger meaning is throughout the entire poem. So as we're looking through literally all 3 phases today, we are doing learning target 1 and 2. So learning target number 2, we introduce our answer with a clear claim in our own words. So you need to make sure you start with your claim by making a claim in the form of an inference that responds to the questions presented in all 3 phases. And then you follow that with your cited evidence. Learning target number 1, to cite specific text evidence from the text in the form of a direct quote. Remember, that last step is to connect your cited evidence to your claim that you make at the beginning of your paragraph by analyzing how you see specific features and details from that evidence within that support and help to tie in to the claim you made in the opening statement. This is going to be probably the most challenging close read we've done, because we are looking at and providing evidence for 2 distinct texts. So go ahead and get working.